Okay, here we go. Nathan Cleverly versus Sergey Kovalev for the WBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Post-fight video. Where do we begin? I did try to explain going into this fight with Kovalev. Cleverly would have to do something he'd never done before. We all knew what was happening. Well, those who know and could see Kovalev from what he really was, which was not just a puncher. This guy is a devastating one-punch knockout artist. This guy has the sort of punch power that when he hits you, you stay hit. Going into the fight, Nathan Cleverly being unbeaten, Kovalev was being unbeaten. A lot of people banked on the fact that the second half of the fight is how Cleverly would win the fight. Suck up the first 6 rounds, and the second half of the fight, Cleverly would win the fight down the stretch and beat Kovalev. Right. If you listen to the pre-fight conversations, Cleverly was saying, yeah, I've got a great chin, and I'll come for some rocky moments, but I'll get this guy, I'll break this guy down bit by bit. Right. Kovalev, very calm, very assured. They knew what they were doing when they came over here. And I said to everybody, go back and look at the Andrei Kuzminski fight. In the 3rd round, Cleverly's caught with a punch, a left hook, and he's badly hurt. I mean, badly hurt. Not just stunned, badly hurt. And what he does, he puts his hands up in the air, as he does, clowning around and calling the fighter into him. I said that not so much if, when Kovalev lands on Cleverly, he'll do the same thing. What did he do? He did exactly the same thing. Fighters fight in patterns that, if you look at their fights, if you really analyze fighters, fight in patterns. They do similar things where they get hurt, how they respond when they get backed up against the ropes, what they do when a fighter gets a better exchange on them. Cleverly has always fought with his heart on his sleeve. Cleverly very much reminds me of Amir Khan. Thing is, Cleverly's got a way of it where Amir Khan hasn't, because Khan has fought the better opposition between the two. But Cleverly does the same things that Khan does. Khan can't punch, Cleverly can't punch. Khan throws a whole heap of punches, Cleverly throws a whole heap of punches. Khan's in exciting fights, Cleverly's in exciting fights. But guess what? Cleverly got the Khan treatment tonight. He got the Khan treatment because he's not a puncher, but he's fighting like he's a puncher. Standing tall, straight up, and walking forward against a guy who is a devastating one-punch knockout artist, and you yourself can't punch? Well, I mean, when you punch with a pistol gun. When this guy punches, he punches with an atomic bomb. Your best bet in this fight would be to get onto your back foot, to counter, hit the guy with sharp, hard counters, feint, counter, get out of the way. The David Haye style of fighting would have been perfect for this opponent in Kovalev, right? Hit and not get hit. Give this man angles, don't stand in front of him. So what do we see? Nathan Cleverly stand right in front of Kovalev and do this. Okay, alright. When you're fighting guys that are punchers, not big punchers, just punchers, you might get away doing that stuff. But now we're at elite level and we're fighting a guy who is a dynamite one-punch knockout artist. Listen, Cleverly was out Cleverly was out when he got hit with the left uppercut. He was out. The other punch was just, what they call icing on the cake punches. Right? Bottom line is this, yeah? As far as I was concerned, from round 1, Cleverly had the wrong idea. Trying to back Kovalev off? Like, come on, man. You need to spin off, you need to be spinning off, throwing punches and moving to the left. Throwing punches, moving to the right, Moving, don't move straight back. But you can't do that. And I said, Cleverly, for a world champion, had a shocking defense, and that showed tonight. Those guys who were picking Cleverly, I know a few of them were picking Cleverly to outbox Kovalev. What Nathan Cleverly were you watching? Show me one fight when Nathan Cleverly's got on the back foot and boxed. He's got engaged in every fight. In every fight he's gone in and tried to have a tear up. And every fight he does this stuff and he puts his hands up in the air. So what did you expect him to do? Why are you shocked he got knocked out? Why are you shocked he got knocked out? And then it doesn't help when people like Steve Bunce, yet again, another dunce moment, turns around and says, "Oh, I think it should be a rematch. Oh, don't be surprised if there's a rematch." No, I would be very surprised if there was a rematch. Because, you know, Mr. Bunce, it wasn't you who took those punches. And if you saw, I don't know if you did see, or maybe through your eyes, which you may have thought that Cleverly was in that fight, when Kovalev actually landed, look at what happened when Cleverly went back to the corner in the 3rd round. He shouldn't even come out for the 4th round. The fight was a mismatch. Plain and simple, blatantly a mismatch. Because Cleverly lacks defense, and Cleverly lacks a boxing guile. You can't just keep walking straight forward into fighters and throwing punches like that if you yourself cannot dig. See, the difference between Carl Froch and Nathan Cleverly, he's got a great chin. Well, if you're getting wobbled by the likes of unknown Kuzmanovic, or whatever his name was, yeah? You're getting rocked by him. What's going to happen when you fight a guy who's got an atomic bomb? You know, and you're not thinking about defense. And he didn't think about defense. He's somehow, I don't know what this is. I've got no idea what that is. If somebody out there can explain to me what this is, you know, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that might be. Are you trying to? I can understand what you're doing there. I can see you're parrying. I can understand, but this, I don't quite understand what that is. Because you're doing that. So that which means when you're doing that, for me, you're not in a position to counter because you're too busy doing that. You're doing that, and how are you going to get punches off? Because then you have to bring your hands down to then throw punches, right? I mean, if he was actually, when he was doing what he was doing this, was bringing the elbow up to catch the head punches and maybe hit Kovalev to catch his fist on his elbow, maybe to try and damage his hands, or maybe that might be a strategy. Maybe that was a strategy. That's the only thing possibly I think he was doing. But otherwise, he was just doing muffling. Well, I mean, what's that? At least when Tyson would do something, Tyson would have his hand here and he'd move his head in like that. That's movement. That's head movement. But your head's stuck in the same place and you're doing this against a noted puncher, and you're allowing that puncher to walk you down, and you're trying to walk down a puncher with no punch. See, I said, the difference between him and Carl Froch is quite simple. Carl Froch, you know, takes a great shot, but the other thing is, you see people landing on Carl Froch, but Froch is landing these heavy punches as well. He's hitting you with heavy shots. So you who's coming in and throwing them shots, right? You have to take a fair for yourself. And Froch is riding punches as well. Froch has got great reflexes. Let's be fair. Froch has got he must have great reflexes to be taking the shots he's taking. Okay, so for me, technically, Cleverly's got a hell of a lot to work on. It's nothing I haven't said before. He is in that Amir Khan situation now. He needs to learn boxing fundamentals, spinning guys off the ropes, counter punching, you know, not get involved, using your brain and looking to fight, not in exciting fights. But if he had got more of a boring style, he said, you know what? Look, this is gonna be a boring fight. I'm gonna make this a boring fight. When the guys get close, I'm gonna tie him up, and I'm long. I'm gonna use my jab. I'm gonna stay long in this fight. I'm gonna keep this guy on the end of a jab. And also, I don't buy into this rubbish where people say, oh, well, for the first 6 rounds of the fight, Cleverly should stay on the outside, and the next 6 rounds, Cleverly will win the fight because suddenly Kovalev will tire. But that's unprofessionalism, because what happens if Kovalev doesn't tire? What happens if Kovalev is one of these fighters that after 6 rounds or after 8 rounds, he gets better? And how do you know you're going to be round after those 6 rounds or 8 rounds? You don't know. And you're certainly not going to know by standing in front of the guy. And another thing I noticed in this fight, I don't know if you noticed yourself, but Nathan Cleverly was not throwing. He didn't seem the same confident Nathan Cleverly. He looked, when you look across, you look at the fight at the beginning, he was smirking at Kovalev. How often do you see Nathan Cleverly smirking before a fight? You don't. You don't. He's really up and he's pumped up. I personally think the fight should never have been in Cardiff. People say, wow, he's at Cardiff, he's at home, he's got his fans supporting him. Some guys do that. Other guys, they get sucked into the hype. They get sucked into the hype. More interested in coming down the steps and cheering and having the guys cheer for them, putting their hands up and doing all this nonsense. You don't do this. Oh, I'm the champ. You don't do that sort of stuff when you're away from home. You understand? Because you know you're away from home. You know you've got a guy in front of you. You've got a job to do. I would never have had the fight in Cardiff personally. This wasn't about making this was about making an impression, you know, and being at home in front of your fans. I would have taken the fight in Russia. That sounds dumb, but for Cleverly, I would have done that. So he got to focus 110% on boxing and not impressing the Welsh fans or the HBO fans. Was he under pressure? I think he was under pressure in the fight, and it showed. So okay, what next? I think Nathan Cleverly. You saw who Nathan Cleverly's next opponent could possibly be. The big punching Enzo Macronelli, who has been knocked out before. I think it would be a great British, a Welsh showdown. Macronelli brings to the table the Commonwealth Light Heavyweight Championship. Nathan Cleverly is now a former world champion. Good fight, good fight. And the way Cleverly went to Kovalev, you've got to give Macronelli a shot in this one. You really do. So Nathan Cleverly's chin, he's got a rock solid chin. He's this and that. Well, against who? Who has he fought to say he's got a rock solid chin? And he's got a great chin, a granite chin. Who's he fought? He's barely fought anybody of any world note. And this is not knocking Cleverly. These are the facts. Just look at his record. So, you know, as for Kovalev, I would love to see him fight Stevenson. I think that'd be a great fight. I think Hopkins is a different class altogether. Another exciting fight I'd love to see is Kovalev versus Pascal. I think that would be a great fight as well. So for Cleverly, I would fight Macronelli. If I were Kovalev, I'd fight Pascal. I think it'd be a great fight. Or even Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson, because he's been knocked out before. Nice other scalp to have on your list. I don't think Hopkins is going to be too much of a rush to fight Mr. Kovalev. Because as much as I think Hopkins is a defensive genius, this guy Kovalev is not just a puncher like Kelly Pavlik. This guy can box. This guy hits you and knocks you unconscious. So it's a different situation here. But if you want to look for weaknesses for Kovalev, if you look at the second round when he got cut, he spat the gum shield out. Are there question marks about Kovalev's heart? What's it like when it's been put on him? What's his heart like? What's he like when he has to take a shot and have to take punches back at him? We never really found out against Cleverly because the fight was too short. Alright, let me know what you guys think. Fortunately, Wales no longer have a world champion, but this could be the making of Nathan Cleverly. Some people would say that it's time that he left Frank Warren. What do you think? Should he leave Frank Warren? There's lots to think about. And another thing, people also say that Nathan Cleverly now was a paper champion, never was a champion. Well, he's gained a lot of experience fighting at world level, albeit, you know, B-level fighters, you know. I mean, that's pretty harsh because he's fought Murat. Murat's now going to fight, what's his name? He's going to fight Hopkins now. And you've got the guy fought, the last guy fought was unbeaten in a few years and had a good record. So, okay, so maybe he's not, and maybe we are being a bit harsh to Cleverly because this guy is a legendary puncher he's going to fight. I thought he fought with Kovalev. So maybe Cleverly is at elite level, but he just needs to stay away from Kovalev. Unlike what Steve Bunt suggested, they should have a rematch. We should have a rematch. Rematch. Yes, probably say Steve Bunt said David Price, rematch. And you saw what happened to David Price's career. If I were Nathan Cleverly and his team, I would very quietly say, thank you very much, Mr. Kovalev, for relieving me of my title and making me realise just how much I have to work on. And I would not be looking at any rematch because I don't see any difference. Okay, This is my thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.